All right, friends, welcome to Trending. Today is Thursday, August 11th. It's about 9:25 in the morning, and we're here for another Zoom episode. So I'm back in the office. Joe's at home today. Hey, Joe.
How's it going? I don't have COVID, but I am getting some siding done. And let me tell you, this has been something a long time in the making. We actually signed the contract for all this work in November of 2021. And then they're just not getting to it because of the Andover tornadoes and supply chain issues. And so it's one of those things where we knew it was going to happen at some point. It's kind of like the return of Jesus, it's just down the road, like it's going to happen at some point. And when the trumpet sounds, y'all, you gotta be ready.
The already and the not yet, right?
That's right.
Exciting will happen when you least expect it.
Did you so in all these times in our meetings, you're like, well, I'm not a pastor, or I don't have a theological training, but you just dropped one of the richest, juiciest, zestiest theological ideas from the 20th century, George Ladd. Man, you just laid it down. The inaugurated eschatology.
I had no idea who said it, so I shouldn't get too much credit, but already not yet. I do know that.
You didn't have to say that. You could end this. We could redo it. You could go, yeah. I was just reading Ladd with my coffee yesterday, which is a lie because you don't drink coffee, nor do you read Ladd.
Which reminds me of my favorite G.K. Chesterton quote.
There you go.
I can't give you any Chesterton quotes either, but
your task, if you should choose to accept it, is to read. He's got a book called Orthodoxy that you need to read. So
sometime I'll try to at least just grab a quote and just pull it into a random trending episode, just so I can try to, impress you with my knowledge.
Yeah, I'll have a fit, and it'll be a nerd look. I'll have a little wheeze laugh, that's what it'll be. So yes. So if you would like to read, and then any of our millions of trending fans, if you wanted to read Orthodoxy with Matt and have an online book club, this is your chance, friends. We try to give you a chance to enrich and deepen your faith. This is a chance to do so. Might as well take us up on it.
Just Google Chesterton quotes and then come up to Joe on a Sunday morning and quote it to him and just watch his reaction. You could also do that if you want the easy way out. So
but now I'm I don't know.
You're in on it.
I'm ready. So
okay. Anyway. All right, Joe, we got a lot to get to. We got to get to it.
No, okay. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. So just a little precursor. So we got 5 things, but we're going to try to go fast today. Okay. We got 2 kind of fun things, 1 sad thing, and 2 real news things that are kind of related. I'm going to mush together and get your thoughts on. Okay. Yeah. Let's get to it. First kind of fun one. So one of the trending topics this morning is I Am Groot. So there's another new Disney Plus Marvel show called I Am Groot. Have you seen this yet, Joe? Have you seen anything about it?
I haven't.
It's 5 shorts. So they're 5 or 6 minutes, and it just follows baby Groot on random adventures. And I watched all 5 of them last night because they're very short. They're probably even less than 5 minutes when you take the intro and the outro out. They're good. The animations were great. That looks really cool. It's fun to see Groot on adventures. Vin Diesel actually does the voice for him, which I think is funny. And it's good. My only beef is Marvel is just cranking out too many things, Joe. I'm the biggest Marvel fan in the world, and I think they need to calm down, make one really, really good movie, and stop cranking out so much content, because I feel like everything they're putting out is getting a little worse. I think they feel this pressure to put out new content all the time. And I would have rather the best animators in the world, instead of cranking out kind of a silly little Groot short, I want to see the next movie be really, really good. So, but I will say it's entertaining. And especially if you have kids, I know some Marvel stuff's a little on the edge for kids. Kids will love I Am Groot. It's funny. It's great animation. So if you got kids, maybe this weekend, got 30, 40 minutes to kill, pull up I Am Groot. I think they'll really like it. So
that's awesome, man. I love it. I'm here for it. So we'll probably get to it in the next couple of days.
Okay. All right. I'm Groot, the first fun thing, number 1 this morning.
Yes. All right.
Number 2, so earlier this week, Samsung had a big event. They're trying to do kind of the Apple thing where they host these big events and unveil all their new products. And so you may have seen their big thing is they've got another one of these flip smartphones. Have you seen these, Joe?
Yep.
Whole thing is a screen, but it's like one of those old school flip phones where you can flip it open, but the whole thing is a screen. The new one's kind of cool because you can dual screens. Like if it's folded, you can have something on the top, something else on the bottom. You can fold it to where it's kind of like a tripod, where if you're making a video, you can have it sit like this and film whatever you're doing. So,
Wow.
of course, we're both Apple guys. A lot of people watching are probably Apple people, but it is kind of cool to see what Samsung's cranking out these days. So,
I mean, I think there's going to be a big conversion, like, because this stuff is like really cool looking, and it's kind of like blending nostalgia with the new stuff. And so I don't know, man, we might see a lot of Apple people migrate to the Samsung world. Particularly like with all these like the chip wars that are going on, the stuff that's brewing over geopolitically with China and Taiwan. And one of the big selling points, and we heard this on like the interview with the Google guy on Armchair Expert, is a lot of the chips for Samsung stuff comes from South Korea, where the chips for Apple stuff comes from China. And so it could come like into this like little propaganda war of, do you want to support China or not? Move to Samsung. But I don't know, we'll see. I think that we're going to have some new believers of Samsung. That's my bold prediction.
I can't and it's 2022. Like if you had told me 2 or 3 years ago that I was on the internet saying that Marvel wasn't great, and I kind of think a Samsung thing is cool, like I would not have believed you. Like Marvel and Apple are like core of who I am. And so it's a weird world that we're living in, Joe.
Hey, something happens when you become a dad of girls. Like you just start, everything just gets renegotiated.
Guess so. It's a weird world we're living in. Wild world.
Yeah.
All right, number 3. So kind of the sad thing today, a lot of people probably have heard by now that Serena Williams has announced that she's going to retire. So she had a match in Canada, I think yesterday. She lost, and so it's one of her kind of final matches, and she had kind of a tearful goodbye, said she's not good at goodbyes, and it's kind of sad to see a legend like her kind of hang it up. But Joe, I was thinking, so like in our lifetime, we got to watch Michael Jordan. Probably, I mean, you can whatever you want to say about LeBron, whatever. I think Michael's the greatest of all time in basketball. We got Brady still kicking somehow. We got to watch Serena Williams. So I feel like it's pretty incredible that over the past, decade or two or whatever, we're getting to see like the all-time greats like at their heights and then kind of wrap up their career. So it's, on one hand, it's kind of like, it's sad that Serena's kind of wrapping things up, but I'm also like, it's just kind of a fun time to be a sports fan when there's just so much talent out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, like the ones that we call greats now, they were young and they replaced the greats from beforehand. And so this is our turn, like the generation before us, to see the transition and to do like the get off my lawn comments of, there's no way that, some of these younger players these days are going to be better than such and such. But then we'll get to see it all play out. Serena Williams, like, she's been around a long time. She started winning at a young age, as we know. Of course, that movie about her dad and her and her sister with Will Smith before he got canceled, is out there. And so I think she changed the game of tennis. She played for a long time, was able to, have a child and still continue to play. Businesswoman. She had this neat quote and comment about how she, as a mom, also needs to provide for her family. And so she's out there like running a business, a brand, and playing and being a mom. Like, that's just a lot to juggle. She wants to be more present with her kids, and all power to her. And that's actually like the next edition of her being a role model. Like, now she's been a great athlete and handled her business on and off the court, but now she's a mom. I just think it's cool that her legacy is going to endure, past her being able to lace up the tennis shoes. Is that what you say? Lace them up? I mean, I don't know. Like,
hang them up.
Don't you like string a racket? I don't know, man. I know zero about tennis other than like the general rules. I don't even know who's out there to watch now that she's gone. So
yeah,
we have to do some homework.
I feel like she'll be sort of like someone like Peyton Manning, maybe, where she's an icon and she'll be done with her sport, but we'll still see her around. Like, I think she'll still be in a ton of commercials. Like you said, I think she'll still be a business entrepreneur. She'll be, I think, in the limelight for a while, just because she's a great businesswoman. She's just a cool person. I think everyone kind of looks up to. So I think we'll still see her around a lot, even though she won't be on Sports Center quite as much, maybe. So
yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Cool to watch a legend, I guess.
That's right.
All right, Joe, 2 more. They're kind of similar topics. I'll kind of give you the quick rundown, and then I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So both Pete Davidson, our friend of the show, Pete Davidson, is back in the news, as well as an actress, Jeanette Mccurdy, which I don't really know her very much. She got her fame on iCarly, I think, the Nickelodeon show. She's been on
Oh,
a few.
gotcha.
Then, so real quick, so Pete Davidson, obviously he was dating Kim Kardashian. He's been in the spotlight his whole life, it seems like. They split up, and he's trending today because apparently, so obviously Kanye West used to be married to Kim Kardashian. When Kim and Pete started dating, Kanye was pretty public about his disdain for Pete, said some not very nice things about him. So the headline this morning is that Pete is in trauma therapy after having to deal with a really public breakup, and then just all this stuff with Kanye kind of was hard on him. And he's always been a pretty vocal advocate for mental health. So he's kind of one of those guys that is pretty open about when he needs help. He talks about it. So that's going on today. And then this Jeanette McCurdy, she again was on a couple of different Nickelodeon shows. I guess she wrote a book that came out, I think today or yesterday or this week sometime. And it just kind of documented what it was like for her to be a young starlet on Nickelodeon and just some of the pressures that came with that, some of the difficulties. Apparently her mom kind of pushed her into showbiz, and she wasn't really sure if she wanted that for herself. There's some talk about maybe the execs in Nickelodeon maybe made her do some things she wasn't super comfortable with. She decided, she was offered like a spinoff show, and she eventually said no because she wanted to focus on her mental health. And again, she was, a upper teenager at the time, so kind of a young person having to deal with pressures of stardom. So two kind of celebrities are in the news for kind of vocally and publicly dealing with mental health, talking about some struggles. I feel, and they're both pretty young. So I just feel for these people who have a lot of spotlight, especially young in their life. They have to make hard decisions, big business decisions when they're 17, 18, publicly getting called out on social media. So is there anything we can do about this, Joe? Or when you hear about kind of young people publicly going through some hard stuff, what goes through your mind?
Right. I think I admire them. I mean, and this is something that like some of the more experienced sportscasters saying, because this kind of comes up in the sports world as well, like with these young athletes, all the pressure on them, not just to like win games, perform, and their life is dominated by their craft, but also like just the sharp criticism they get from, people officially from ESPN, and then, yokels on Twitter and stuff. Right. So I admire them. I mean, some people think that, these folks are just saying this to get attention, or to be cool. Is there an element to that? Who knows? Like that's up for them to decide. But at the end of the day, like these folks are quitting a job. Like they are like letting go of revenue in order to work on something that is not going to earn them any money, probably. I mean, if they get like some sort of a sponsorship book deal, that's another thing altogether. But I just admire these young people. They seem to be more present, more aware and mindful of what goes on internally than maybe some folks that we have looked up to in our ministry careers, and then just in general public and culture. And so I would just say, hey, I admire these folks because I think they're brave. They're kind of journeying into the unknown. They don't know what's next, but they know that if they got one body, one mind, they got to take care of it. I think too, like this speaks to the impulse of fame. Fame is a unique commodity. And I just go back to this quotation I've heard that, someone who is a star, someone who's famous is, someone who for their whole life they fought to be noticed, and once they are noticed, now they wear sunglasses everywhere they go so they're not noticed, right? Like there's just like this double-edged sword to the whole thing. And so I do worry about how people want to be noticed, how they, and what kind of the cost it takes in order to get noticed. And then I also worry about how quickly we turn on people when they show some of their humanity, when they make mistakes, and what that does to them in the long run. Who the people connected to people who are famous, what it does to them, how it kind of erodes their relationship. And so I think this is one of these cases where the wisdom tradition, like Christianity, has told us, like, don't bite off more than you can chew. Like, notice like the long-term effect of some of the decisions that we make. And so I just think that this is an issue that we're going to have to deal with. I'm glad that it's on the table, that we talk about it. My fear is that it's mentioned so much that people begin to roll their eyes and they get tired of it. But this is a real thing. So my dad retired in the early part of this year, and he started, hopefully I'm not airing his life, but he started like working out, spending more time in the gym and stuff. He's really liked how it's given him more energy and stuff. But he came across this great quotation from Warren Buffett, who said, like, imagine if you were given a car at 16 and you were told this is the only car you're going to have for your whole life. Like, you would take care of it. Like, you would not neglect any bit of the maintenance. If it got scuffed up, you'd replace it. He's like, in the same way, like we're given one body, we're given one mind, and we have to nourish it. Like, we have to attend to its issues, and we have to seek to deepen its strength so that it can be with us for the long haul. And so I admire these folks, and I think it's a testimony to us and a challenge to us. Like, do we look at our lives in the same way, or are we just kind of like cutting corners? And as an old preacher once told me, you cut too many corners, you just run in circles. And so we gotta we should not neglect some of these vital parts of who we are, because it'll radically affect our ability to live a deep and fulfilling life in the long haul.
Yeah. You talked about body and mind, but it's also like a soul element. I would say, like, this is also, a lot of this comes down to identity, right? Like, they're placing their identity in something that's maybe not the best thing. Do you have anything specifically from like a biblical, like some of this taking care of your soul, any kind of like pastoral biblical element to that we haven't hit on yet?
Yeah, I mean, there's a great book that some of us are reading right now. It's called The Good and Beautiful You by James Bryan Smith. Hat tip to a Wichita guy, Friends University guy. But what he says about the soul is that we all are a soul. It is good because it comes from God, and our soul is high maintenance. It is always being shaped. It's kind of like our body shape. We can't put it on pause when we eat like a whole box of donuts, because I would love to every day. Who wouldn't? I mean, they're donuts, for crying out loud. So we're always being shaped, whether we directly are aware of it or not. And so he says, since your soul is high maintenance, we need to learn to tend to it. And then the greater master's level degree of Christianity is to tend to the souls around us in a loving and kind way. And so I think this is a lifelong journey for us. Dallas Willard said, like, the soul is like the operating software of a computer. Like, we don't really notice it's running until something is not running correctly. And so I think it'd be wise for us as Christians not just to tend to our souls when something is wrong, but tend to our souls when our life is in neutral, or if we like to excel in life, because our soul would be like the superpower behind the great development in our own life or in our communities, if we want to reach our communities. Because what are friendships other than the mingling of souls? You know, there's different relationships, our marriage relationships, our sibling relationships, and so on and so forth. It's just the mingling of souls, man. And so as we tend to ours and others around us, we have a deeper experience in life. And so I think that we need to give ourselves to the great effort of attending to souls. And it's a great mystery, but it's something that has great benefit if we apply ourselves to that process.
Yeah. Yep. That's good, man. I agree. Okay, there you have it. I guess go watch Am Groot this weekend, or not, or no. If you're watching, let me know what you think. It's good, but is it worth doing? I don't know. I'd love to hear from some other Marvel fans. If you're watching, let me know what you think of Am Groot over the weekend. So,
I mean, he's an endearing character, lovely character in the Galaxy movies, and I think we'll watch it. We always giggle whenever he is in the movies, so it's just going to be a great deal.
He's an intriguing character. So
yeah.
Okay, well, as we wrap things up, again, you're always welcome on Sunday mornings. We'd love to have you at Ridgepoint, or of course, we'll be back here again next Thursday. So anything else to close out, Joe?
Nothing, but like something kind of local. I don't know if there's sports fans out there, but the Wichita Wind Surge, which is our local AA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins, they're in town this week, and they've done this cool thing where I think it's for the 4th game this year, maybe the 5th. They're going to be called the Tumba Vacas, which is one of the best logos in all of minor league baseball. It's called cow tippers. It's like the best translation from the Spanish, but what it is a way to give a hat tip to Latin American influence on baseball. And so tomorrow night at Riverfront Stadium, the Tumba Vacas are going to be playing, and it's going to be a fun time. I know the kids and I are going to go. We can't wait to go, but if you want to get out and do something fun for a sport related activity, Tumba Vacas tomorrow night at Riverfront Stadium.
Nice. I like it. Very cool. All right. Well, with that, we'll wrap it up. Hopefully we'll be back in the studio next week, barring any sickness or already but not yet home projects. So, all right. You guys have a great weekend. We'll see you next time. See ya.
See you next time.